Hello everyone! Welcome to another round of TBR Mini Star Hop, but this time it's gonna be a little different. So this round, we are gonna be trying to play it in 24 hours. I know that's insane, like I'm aware, but I really wanted to do a readathon this weekend and I did not have the time to be able to do a 48-hour readathon. And so I decided we're just gonna challenge ourselves. It's gonna be fun, it's gonna be fine. I might die, I might not sleep, but I'm gonna have a good time and I'm really excited for this. I'm gonna be doing it with my Patreons. They seem to be really excited as well. So hopefully this goes well. There's not really a lot that I changed. I think I did change a prompt or two, not really too many, but the main rule that's going to change is if I hit the first black hole, I will go back to the beginning. But if I hit the second black hole, I will only go back to the first black hole. So that way, if I do hit the second black hole, it doesn't pretty much make it so it's impossible for me to win the game. That is it. I'm hoping this goes well. I could very well lose, but I think it'll just be fun to try to get in a lot of reading this weekend. And by this weekend, I do mean in the next 24 hours because after that, it'll probably be pretty minimal. But I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I have my coffee made. I'm ready to go. I'm going to jump on some sprints with my Patreons. But yeah, this is going to be an intense 24 hours. I'm hoping to get through a decent amount of my TBR for this month within this first literally 24 hours of the month. And this is going to be a fun way to start it. I'm just really excited. I think it's going to be so much fun. So let's jump into the first roll and see how this goes. Here we go with the first roll. Honestly, I don't want to hit any black holes on this readathon just because it is so short, but let's see what we get. We don't want a 6. A 4, that's good. Ooh, it is a sun though. Ooh, it's a sun. A 500-page book would be really hard right now. Okay, so we didn't hit the black hole. We got a 4, which is a decently big number. But I'm a little nervous because it's a sun, and sun has the prompt of a book over 500 pages, which could be a little bit scary for me. But we do hit it quite frequently, so maybe we're due for not hitting the over 500 page book prompt. Whew, okay, we shall see. Let me turn up my volume a little bit. Are there any other ones that I don't really want to get? I could do continuation. Yeah, I could do continuation. Higher or lower sometimes is mean. Friend pick, I would probably just have my Patreons pick. Yeah, I think we could be okay. Okay, let's go ahead, let's spin, let's see what we get. Are you kidding me? Stop. No! How does this happen every time? Okay, I will be going to get some books that fit this prompt. Wow, I can't believe this happened again. Okay, I have some options and it is a little embarrassing because I have already posted my TBR for June, and in that TBR I talked about the books that I read in May, and I said that I had almost finished Nightshade and almost finished Keeper of the Lost Cities Flashback. And unknowingly, I lied. That was a big fat lie. And what happened is I started listening to both of them on audiobook as well. And I was doing it mainly on audiobook for the last couple days because I've been like going for walks a lot. I've been like doing laundry, things like that. And so I had a lot more audiobook than physical book. So I didn't really realize how far I was through them when I filmed that. And Audible has changed something on their settings. I think it's been changed for a while now, but I'm just not jumping on board with it apparently, where it will say how long you have left to listen at your current speed. Whereas before it used to say how long you have to listen in the book period, like if you were listening at 1 time speed. So I thought I was a lot further than I was. At least with Nightshade, I am over halfway done, so that's a little bit less embarrassing. But Nightshade is over 500 pages. This could be a good option because I was supposed to have finished it last month and I did not. I also have Flashback, and this one is significantly more embarrassing because I am only this far into it. I am only 350 pages into this book. And The thing is with this one, there's about 340 or 845 pages. So technically, I would still have about 500 pages left to read of this book. So it's kind of reasonable. And then my other option is Crave, which is 571 pages. If you watched my TBR video, you'll know that because I showed it. And this one is the only one of these books that's on my June TBR. So this one would actually be cutting into the books that I have to read for the month of June. So here are my stack of options. And I think immediately I'm probably going to remove this one just because it is a little bit of a more dense read. And I think these ones would go more quickly. And after discussing it with my Patreons, we are going to go ahead and go with Crave because it is on my monthly TBR and I want to win June because as one of my lovely Patreons so kindly pointed out, I have no more black holes. I used a metal paper airplane as a black hole because I did not have any more cut out. So I really need to read the books for June so I do not have to put a fake black hole on the board again. So this is the one we're gonna go with. I'm excited to read it though. This is a book I'm buddy reading with my niece who is 15. And so many of my Patreons kind of wanna know what I think of it to see if maybe it's something that they would want to read as well. So this is the book that is going to be going on. This is my first read of the readathon and I cannot believe that we're starting off with a book over 500 pages. That's just mean. It's 24 hours. I don't got time for that. Okay, it's a little bit later than I was expecting it to be. It is now 6:40 in the evening, but I have finished Crave by Tracy Wolff. I don't know if I really kind of talked about what this book is about, but this is a YA paranormal fantasy. I would say paranormal fantasy romance, honestly, based on what I've read. But it follows this girl whose parents have died and she has to go live with her uncle in Alaska at this very prestigious boarding school that he runs. And I don't really think this is a spoiler because this book has very much been compared to Twilight, but there are paranormal creatures there. And we find out that this girl might have more to her than we might have thought before. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I do very strongly feel Twilight vibes and Zodiac Academy vibes. So if you like either of those, this definitely has a lot of the same feels to that, but kind of when it comes to Zodiac Academy, a little bit more on like the softer side. Zodiac Academy, the bullying, the intensity of all the things happening are a lot more intense than they are in this book because this one is YA. Overall, I had a pretty good time with it, honestly. I don't know if it's because I went in with the right mindset because I was kind of going in expecting for a little bit of the angst, the like over dramaticness, the kind of tropes that you see a lot in these YA paranormal fantasy books. And those are definitely there. We definitely have that like not like other girls thing going on and the broody angsty guy that I understand but no one else gets him trope. You know what I'm talking about. These things are very prominent in, especially I feel like the following Twilight era books. But overall, I still actually quite enjoyed it. It was engaging. I was interested in the plot and what was going on. And I had a lot of fun, particularly with some of the side characters. I thought a lot of the banter was pretty fun. And just overall, I had a good time with this. This is pretty much what it is advertised to be. There is a particular kind of like mystery that we're trying to figure out what's going on with that. And I guessed it-ish, but not the specific. That one definitely took me by surprise. So that was a very interesting twist to it. And overall, I felt that there were some things that annoyed me, like kind of the naivete, I can't pronounce right now apparently, of our main character and some of the other characters. Honestly, some things definitely should have like been seen coming. But overall, it was a pretty fun time. It was actually a fairly quick read. I know it's 6:40 and I wanted to finish it earlier, but I enjoyed it. And for a book that was well over 500 pages, I feel like having finished it by 6:40 is not too bad. So we are now going to be able to jump into our next roll, and fingers crossed we do not get another prompt like that, and really, really, really fingers crossed that we don't hit a black hole. Okay, here we are with the next roll. anything but a 2 is safe for us here. I really, really, really don't want a 2, and honestly, I want a 3 or higher to get past and feel confident, but anything but a 2 and we're gonna be happy. Whoo, come on. Are you kidding me? Oh, it's a 2, no. Ugh. Okay. We're back to the beginning. It's always the first black hole. I feel like once we get past the first black hole, we're safe, but this first one gets you. Okay, let's go see what we read. Okay, so that was less than ideal, but we will go ahead, we'll spin the wheel. I have a spinner wheel of all of the books that are on my TBR for the month of June, and really the only one that I don't want to get is Gleam, because I don't have an audiobook for that one, and I just don't think I would finish it because it takes me so much longer to read books that don't have audiobooks when I'm reading them late at night, just because I can't focus. Like, I get really tired and I can't concentrate. But other than that, I think I'm fine with anything. Okay, here we go, spinning. Okay. This is great. This is fine. I'm not mad about this at all. This is actually a really nice pick considering we just had to go back to the beginning. So I'm going to be reading the next volume in the Ascender graphic novel series. This is volume 3, and I have been just kind of like meh about this series so far. I don't absolutely love it, but it is okay. And on the plus side, I am able to get this on Everand and read it digitally on there, which is nice because I did put it on hold at my library, but it hasn't come in yet. So obviously I can't read it there. So I am still able to read it today during this readathon, which I'm very happy about. So yeah, this should not take too long. I'm guessing within the next couple hours, I should be done with it. I can't really remember how long this graphic novel series usually takes me. Some are an hour, some are like 2 or 3, kind of depending on how much text there is versus pictures. So hopefully this one's pretty quick, but then we'll be able to jump on to the next one, which feels like the first one because we're back at the beginning, but it'll be fine. At least the spinner wheel was nice to us. Okay, so I have finished the 3rd volume in the Ascender series. I guess I can move over here so I can put the picture up here. And honestly, it was fine, but I really feel like it was so short. Like, we jumped between characters quite a bit, and it really kind of felt like nothing happened with any of them too much except for like one big event that happened. You know what I mean? We didn't really get any kind of character development. I don't know, there's like one big event for sure, but I don't know, it just kind of felt like it was lacking in substance, I guess. Also, again, I don't really like the characters that much in this one. I don't really love the fantasy elements that have been added to the storyline and the kind of vampire religious thing that they have going on. Just, it's not my favorite. But it was fairly quick to read. It did take me longer than I was expecting to read it because I had to like zoom in on my phone. The color was kind of off and it was kind of hard to zoom. But if I didn't, then if there was a lot of dialogue, it was very small and it was hard to read. So yeah, I don't think reading graphic novels on my phone is my favorite. I don't mind reading ones that are put onto like apps like webtoons because they're kind of made to be read that way. But this one was not very fun to read that way. And like I said, I think the colors are off because I've read this graphic novel series before and that's not how the colors were. So yeah. Overall though, it was a fast read, which is what I needed. Oh, I forgot to tell you, it is about 8:30. So I will jump in to my next roll and fingers crossed we don't get a 6. I would honestly like to have a bigger number than a 1. I feel like 1 and 6 are pretty equal in my book for how I feel about them. Maybe like a 5. I would like a 5. I would even take another 4, but I would really like a 5. That'd be pretty. Let's see what we get. Okay, here we go with the next roll in the game. It's the 3rd roll. I know you wouldn't guess because we're at the beginning, but here we go. No 6s. Another 4. I'm not mad about it, but now I'm a little worried that we're gonna get another book over 500 pages and that just sounds exhausting at this point. So, fingers crossed that does not happen. Okay, so I'm not mad about the 4. The 4 is great. The 4 is movement, but we are on another sun, and I don't know how I feel about that, because what if we roll another book over 500 pages? That would be a little bit exhausting, just saying. But it's okay. It could be worse. We could have gotten the black hole again, or a 1 or a 2, right? Like, we'll take the 4. Ugh. Fingers crossed that it gives us anything but a book over 500 pages, honestly. Is there really anything else? I mean, friend pick. I could just put up a poll, right? I could do that. Let's do it. Let's spin. Let's see what we get. Ooh, here we go. Here we go. Okay. Yes. A continuation. I actually really like this prompt. I think this is a great prompt. I'm not sad about it at all. This is good. This is really good. I like it. Okay. I'll be back. Okay. I only actually grabbed 2 options for this one because we are yet to get past even one of the black holes. So I'm not going to be picking a book that is too long. I need to be realistic about this and pick books that are manageable. So I grabbed Edge Dancer by Brandon Sanderson. This is the next book in the Stormlight Archive, but this is a novella. So this one would be a lot more manageable, a lot more realistic for me to be able to get through. So this one could definitely go on the list as an option. And I also grabbed the next book in the Bridgerton series, which is When He Was Wicked. This is Francesca's story. So this one would also be a good option. And this one I am really excited for after watching the first half of the season 3 of Bridgerton, because Francesca is featured a lot in there and I really liked her character. So this is a great option as well. So yeah, those are the only 2 that I grabbed because really most of the other series, at least the ones I could kind of think of, they're a little bit longer and I didn't really want to throw them on, especially at this point because it could get a little rough. So these are my 2 options for right now. And honestly, I think I'm going to go with Bridgerton because this one is actually on my June TBR. So I'll be knocking off a book that's actually on my TBR. Plus I'm trying to get through the Bridgerton books. I'm excited for it. This one will be really fun. It might be a little bit of a challenge to be putting it on now because if I do, what time is it? It was like 8:30, a little bit past 8:30. I probably won't be finishing this until closing in on midnight, which is a little nerve-wracking, but I think it'll be okay. So this is the one that's going to go on there and fingers crossed I don't end up regretting this. Okay, it is midnight. Exactly, which is kind of weird, but I have officially finished When He Was Wicked, the 6th book in the Bridgerton series. This is Francesca's story, and honestly, I was quite enjoying it for a good chunk of the book, and then something happened, and it just went downhill, and I did not enjoy it from then on. And honestly, I feel like that's kind of a recurring theme in these books. Not all of them, but it happens quite frequently in these books that the buildup is good and then it's not. So honestly, I am super, super disappointed in this one. This is not how I wanted this story to go at all. I don't know. I just feel like it doesn't feel like these are real, like, true love stories to me, but they're being portrayed as that. And I've said that in multiple of my vlogs. I've said that in multiple times talking about these, but I just don't understand. I don't get the appeal of a lot of the things that happen in here and in these books. This one started out strong though. I will say I liked the buildup. I liked the setup. Overall, I thought it was like an interesting premise for Francesca's book, but it just was not a hit for me. I am still going to finish the series though. I only have 2 books left out of 8. But yeah, this one I think I had the highest hopes for because I really enjoyed Francesca in the 3rd season of Bridgerton, but unfortunately it did not work for me. But I have finished it and now I am on to my next role. I have now read 3 books for this readathon. And let's just fingers crossed that we do not hit another black hole, because it is midnight, which means I have exactly 12 hours left in this 24-hour readathon, and I am going to be getting to the point where I'm pretty much exhausted, not really paying attention to the books that I'm reading as well anymore. So let's just hope that we can get through it without any more black holes, so I can maybe get like 3 or 4 hours of sleep. We'll see though. I am prepared to stay awake all night if I have to. Okay. Oh, we have been here before. The exact same position. Anything but a 2 is what we're going for here. Yes! Ooh, that is beautiful. 6. Hello, beautiful star. It's a 6 and a star prompt. I feel like the game is being so nice to me after being kind of mean. It's making it up to me, and I am happy about it. I cannot believe that it was this nice to me. I got a 6 and a star. The star prompts tend to be the easiest of all of the prompts, so I am very, very happy about this. I feel like it is trying to make it up to me a little bit. So let's just go ahead, let's spin, let's see what we get. I mean, there's things I want more than others, but I think anything would be pretty okay. Free pick. I am literally never going to be sad about that one. Whew, I really do feel like the game's trying to make it up to me, because it was pretty mean there for making me hit the black holes in a 24-hour readathon. Whew, okay, let's go ahead. Let's go get some options. I will be back. Okay, I really did not bring that many options, and I don't think any of you are really going to be surprised by the options that I do have, but I did bring 3. First, again, we have Edge Dancer. This is a novella. This should be pretty easy to get through. Plus, I have already read it before. This would be a reread, so it would be simple to like read it quickly, I would think. So this is kind of a good choice. I also grabbed Garlic and the Vampire, which is a graphic novel that my sister sent me. I'm really excited to read it. I think it's going to be so much fun. This also would be a really easy read. It has like not that much dialogue on the pages. I think it would just be so cute and such an easy time, which I kind of need because it's getting late. And then we have Can't Spell Treason Without T, of course, which is a book that I'm really excited to read. This is a cozy fantasy. This is my Patreon buddy read for the month, so I definitely want to get to this as well. And it just seems like something that I would really, really love. So these are my options. They're all relatively doable. They're not super long. I think any of them would be a good choice. You know, honestly, it's pretty late, so I might regret not saving this for later, but I think I'm going to go with Garlic and the Vampire. I think this is going to be a really, really cute read, and since it's kind of later in the evening, I'd like to be able to get to my next role quicker rather than later, because sometimes I make bad decisions about the books that I'm going to read late at night, and I would like to have a little bit more like mental capacity when I do my next role. I know that sounds crazy, but I think this is what I'm going to go with, and I'm actually really excited for this. Okay, this will come as no surprise to anyone, but I have already finished Garlic and the Vampire. This is by Brie Paulson. I don't know if I said the author when I first mentioned I was going to read this, but this is an adorable little graphic novel about a garlic who has anxiety but is tasked with going and checking out the castle where this vampire, they think this vampire has taken up residence, because they want to make sure that the vampire is not going to harm the townsfolk. These little vegetables want to make sure that the vampire is not going to hurt the people in the town, and that Garlic will be the safest doing that because, well, they're garlic. And this was absolutely adorable. I loved this. It was just very joyful reading it. I was smiling. I was laughing. This was just such a good time. I liked the dialogue. I liked the writing style in it. I liked the art style. I'll show you kind of a picture so you can get an idea of it without having spoilers. Where's a cute one? This is cute. This is a cute little example of it. But yeah, I just think that this was such a great time. This was a really good pick as well for this readathon because it is just after 12:30. It is 12:35 actually, and I am already moving on to my next roll of this readathon, which I am very, very excited about. There are such good odds that I am going to be moving past that second and final black hole of the game. So, this could be it. I could actually get a little bit of sleep tonight. That would be awesome. So let's go ahead and let's jump into the next roll. Okay, here we go. Anything but a 1. 5 would have us to the end, but literally anything but a 1, and I'm gonna be happy with it. 4. Okay, 4 is an okay one. We are on a moon. I think that'll be good, but on the plus side, we know that we only have 2 more books. Whew, okay, this is doable, this is manageable. This is good, I like this. I'm happy. Okay, so we got a 4, which I am not mad about. I think this is actually the third 4 that we've got. I feel like in these games, I get the same number over and over again. Like, it's a common thing for this to happen, which I don't really know why, but we are past that second black hole, which I am super happy about, like very, very, very happy about. And we know that no matter what I roll in the next one, it's done, and we are on the final book. Let's go ahead, let's see what we get. Of the moon prompts, I don't really want husband pick because he's asleep. I would just spin again if I got that. I don't really want over 400 pages. Ooh, that might be a little bit difficult. Monthly TBR would be fine, graphic novel would be fine. I could even find something on my Kindle, that would be okay. You know, let's go ahead and spin, because no matter what we get, we only have 1 more book after this. So even if it's a difficult one, it should not be too big of a deal. Look, we got this. Okay, husband pick. We've already discussed this. We're not going to do it because he's asleep. Okay. Kind of the only one we didn't really want, but it's fine. It's fine. Like I said, even if it is the hardest one on the list, it's gonna be fine. We only have 1 more book after this. We can do this. We can do this. I'm going to go find some options. Okay, I know I said I was gonna come back with options plural, but I really could only think of one that would fit this, that I thought was a reasonable one to read at this point. And that is Flashback, which is the, 7th book in the Keeper of the Lost Cities series. Now, I have already started this book. I am on page 350, but this book is 845 pages long, and so there are well over 400 pages left in this book. So I am going to count it, because I will still be reading more than 400 pages, and this book is well over 400 pages, so I think this counts. I think this is a good choice, and it's still gonna take me a decent chunk of time to read this book. So I'm not gonna get too much sleep tonight, even though I only have 1 more roll left. I mean, I guess I could kind of sleep in and then give myself a graphic novel, but I don't like finishing with graphic novels when I absolutely don't have to, so I'm gonna try to stay up and finish this tonight. We'll see how that goes. That might be a little bit overly ambitious, but that is my goal for this one. We shall see. Okay, so it is about 6 in the morning. I am so exhausted. So my thoughts are probably not going to be very clear, but I have finished Flashback, Keeper of the Lost Cities, book 7. And honestly, I feel like these books are the same thing over and over and over and over again. It's really not doing much new with them. I mean, yeah, they are technically new stories in each book, but the plot is like the same plot devices every single time, which, you know, by book 7, it kind of gets a little bit old. but it was still entertaining. I still found the things that they decided to make the twists at the end interesting, and overall, it was fine. And that's kind of how I'm feeling about it at this point. I feel like it's not really giving me anything new or anything to make me super invested in the story at this point, honestly. But again, I am going to be continuing on with the series. I'm going to be finishing it. But yeah, I just kind of feel like the books are doing the same thing as they have done in previous books. I think we're getting different twists, right? The twists will be different. The different things that happen to have our protagonists not completely win and to be fooled are different each time. But it happens every time, you know what I mean? So I just kind of interested to see where we go towards the end of this, because there are still, I think, 3 more books that are out and 1 more that is going to come out. If I remember correctly on this, I think there's going to end up being 10 overall. And then there's this 8.5 one or something that has a bunch of different things and short stories or something like that. So yeah, I just think that the author is not giving me anything that I haven't seen in previous books. But I have officially finished that, so that means we can jump into the final roll of the game, which I am really excited about. At this point, do I even go to bed? We have 6 more hours left in the readathon. Do I go to bed, or do I try to stay up and just push through? I don't know. My next set of sprints with my Patreons begin at 9. Anyway, let's go ahead. Let's jump into the final roll, even though it doesn't really matter. No matter what I roll, it's the end. Okay, here we go with the final roll of the readathon. Doesn't really matter what we get. Of course we get a 6 now. Couldn't have gotten, actually we did get 1 6. I shouldn't complain too much. We did get 1 6 in this game, but we could have used you earlier, buddy. Anyway, we're done. We've got to the final spot, which is a free pick. So let's jump over and pick a book. Okay, so obviously we are at the end and the final spot is a free pick. I'm kind of surprised that I ended up winning this one, especially after hitting that first black hole. I kind of thought that we were going to lose, but we're at the end, and the end is a free pick. I can choose whichever book I want, and I think these are my 2 options of books I'm going to pick. I have Edge Dancer and I have Can't Spell Treason Without Tea. Both fairly short books. This is obviously a little bit shorter than this one. I'd say this one's probably 2/3 to 3/4 of the length of this one. If I had to guess, estimate, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. I don't know. Maybe this would be half as long, but this one is not on my June TBR and this one is on my June TBR. Do I go with this one? Do I try to get this one done since it's actually on my June TBR? I think I do. I think I go with the book that's actually on my June TBR. Plus, I am really excited to read this one, and Edge Dancer would be a reread, so I don't know how much attention I'd be paying to it. So I think I'm going to go Can't Spell Treason Without Tea. I'm looking forward to this one. This is a cozy fantasy. I think this is going to be a good time, and I'm going to really enjoy it. So hopefully the fact that I'm absolutely exhausted is going to be okay with this one. I think that this book will probably take me around 4 hours to read. So I just don't think I'm going to go to bed. I think I'm going to stay up until the end of the readathon, which is in 6 hours. And then I will go to bed at that time and sleep like I used to when I worked the night shift. So here we go. We're going to go with this one. I'm kind of glad this is a 24-hour readathon, because if I stayed up if it was a 48-hour readathon, I wouldn't need to stay up. I could just go to bed and only have 1 book left. We're not going to think about that. We're just going to go with it. We're going to read Can't Spell Treason Without Tea as the final book of this readathon. Whew, here we go. Okay, it is now 11:39. So it is a little bit less than half an hour before the end of the readathon, and I have finished Can't Spell Treason Without Tea. So I didn't get almost any sleep last night. I did decide that I was going to go ahead and take a little bit of a nap at like 8 a.m. and I slept about 8 a.m. to 8:45, and I don't think that that was helpful. And also I think my camera's a little crooked, which I haven't gotten much sleep, so we're gonna blame it on that. We're gonna blame everything on that at this point. So I've been awake practically 24 hours straight. Also, my smoke alarm just decided that it has a low battery and it's been beeping at me for about the last hour, and that is really irritating, but I am too tired to do anything about it. So here we are. If you hear that in the background, I apologize, but my exhaustion is just gonna let it keep happening. But Can't Spell Treason Without T has now been completed, which means that I officially won the readathon. Which I am not gonna lie to you, I was not sure was gonna happen this time. I was very prepared for this to be the time that I lost the game. 24 hours is so short. Plus, when my first prompt was a book over 500 pages, I was like, oh, is this even gonna be able to happen? And then we got another prompt that was a book over 400 pages. So like, I just was not sure, but this is the final book and it is completed. So this was actually a really fun book and a fun way to end the readathon. This is a very easy book to read. The world building and stuff is quite simple. It's not super complex. It doesn't take a lot of brain power to read this book, which made it perfect for the end of the readathon. I like the way that it's written. The writing style is easy to follow, but still really engaging. I really enjoyed our main characters. It follows this Queen's Guard and this very powerful mage who form a relationship and decide they want to run away together and start a tea/bookstore and everything that kind of happens after that. There's dragons, there's griffins, magic, kind of this community dynamic. I really enjoyed this book a lot. I thought it was so much fun. I think it had some corny parts that were very much meant to be corny parts, which was fun. And I really liked the griffins in particular. They were just, they got to my heart and my emotions. I love them so much. And of course, a tea/bookstore is always a really cozy environment, one that I love in books. So yeah, I think that this was a really great cozy fantasy. I would really recommend it. It's a fun read. It's not too complicated. And this is in a series. There are some things that are not wrapped up in this book, and so it's definitely setting up for more books in the series. And I'm excited to keep going with it. I'm definitely going to keep reading it, and this was a really fun time and a great way to end the readathon. So let's go ahead and take a look at all the books that I read. Okay, so here is my stack from the last 24 hours. This is absolutely insane, and I'm so excited about this. I did put in a graphic novel as like a stand-in for the one that I read. So I have Can't Spell Treason Without T for a free pick final spot. I have Garlic and the Vampire, not Onion and the Vampire. Garlic and the Vampire for a free pick. I have Bridgerton 6, When He Was Wicked, for a continuation. Crave for a book over 500 pages. Flashback for a book over 400 pages. And then I read the third volume in the Ascender series for a black hole pick. So here's my stack now. Granted, I was already over 300 pages into Flashback when I read it, but it is well over 800 pages. So I still read 500, pretty much about 500 pages of this book. This is an amazing stack for a 24-hour readathon. I cannot, even if it was a 48-hour readathon, I would still be happy with this stack. So having read it in a 24-hour readathon is absolutely wild to me. Like, I can't believe that I actually did that, and I am so excited about it. I also read almost every book that was on my June TBR already, and it is only June 2nd. So Crave, Bridgerton 6, Garlic and the Vampire, and Can't Spell Treason Without T were on my TBR for the month of June. They have all now been read, and the only one left on that list is Gleam. And in all reality, I might have picked Gleam for this if it had an audiobook, and I could have gotten them all done, but it doesn't, so I'm going to have to read that one just physically. but I'm not mad about it because I have pretty much already won my June TBR because I only have to start Gleam and I have officially won the TBR, which means that I will be removing that paper airplane metal thing from the board for the next time because of this 24-hour readathon. It was so much fun to hang out with my Patreons for the last 24 hours. We did like 3 separate sprint times and everyone just read so much. I feel like this was such a productive 24 hours and I'm feeling really good about the first day of the month. I loved this and I am kind of tempted to do this again sometime, even though I'm absolutely exhausted and right now I just want to go to sleep. But yeah, this is the end of the readathon. Thank you all so much for joining, for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.